Hello and welcome to another new video where I sketch out the stage for Queendom 2. In my previous two videos, I was talking about the round 2 stage, and ever since then, episode 3 for Queendom 2 has been aired and I've watched it a couple of times. Legitimately, I'll put a link in the video description below. I have watched it at on vo.com, vo.com, anyway. So I have some screen grabs as well, which I will refer to, or maybe super here lah, once I get into the drawing or dissecting the stage. So again, what I'll do right now is a very rough, I constantly call it rough because it is rough, and first time I'm doing with a ruler now, which I didn't really want to, but it is what it is now lah. Added perspective, or rather seeing more of the stage in this round, or rather in episode 3, so we have a clearer idea of what the stage entails. Yeah, again, let me say this is nothing, this is not wholly accurate in terms of scale. We scale meaning this is like actual, what's the word for it, dimensions or measurements of the place. Yeah. I'll see what I can do at the same time, referring to the drawings. Okay, am I making sense here? Yes, I am making sense to myself. So bear with me. What I'm doing now, I'm doing a pre-recording. So at some point, I will speed up the video if I can manage to edit it. One reason in the past where I recorded live was because I didn't want to edit. I could just go straight into what I was doing. Or rather, I'll just speak straight. But anyway, what I'll do now is speed up the drawing. Okay, I'll give you, this is a rough idea of how the stage is, where we see before where most of the cameras are pointing this way. The performers are standing here facing the camera, so a lot of times our main view is from here as well, here and here, and a lot of times some cameras are here as well, because especially in round 2 where these two parts, let me try to organize it so you can understand. From round 2 onwards, we recognize this is where the main video wall is, giant video wall, and there's a something new as well when I was looking at the episode as well, new for the video wall, which is interesting. So I'll do this color as a video wall, that the video walls extend, a huge part of it is at the side here as well, and here as well. Whereas audience seating, it's inside. Let me just put a few blocks. Audience seating is inside. So the green will denote the audience seating, and outside here as well. Actually, they're more even lines. Just my adding of the colors. And on the second level, above the video wall, you will see still images of it. And we did not see this that evident in LOONA's round 1 stage. I would assume because they didn't want to have this similar stage setup, so that it would end up being unfair to a degree, to have LOONA having the advantage of being surrounded by audience. I remember they only had this one audience, and can't remember who mentioned also in the green room that the recording for the first stage did not have that many audience as well. So I think they're trying to separate the two distinct stage performances, which is in one way unfair to LOONA because they missed out on a giant stage, but at the same time we move forward. That's why right now I'm not talking about the round 1 stage anymore. Let's move on from the round 2 stage. So this is the layout for it. Let me do some scribbles as again. This is where the audience seating is, and this time we see a mobile camera in a lot of shots. I think especially when I was staring at the full fan cam for LOONA, I recognized there is a camera on, I think it should be on a dolly. Dolly is a track, because you can see it's being pushed forward and backwards pretty quickly, and this is probably stage level, so it will not obscure the camera from the back and the sides. I got a feeling this camera also ends up taking a direction, or rather a shot of when the talents are standing here with the video wall at the back as well. Yeah, especially from Brave Girls performances, where they sometimes have activity here and activities at the side as well, which I thought was really smart. Coming back to the main stage, let me draw this on again. The dotted lines denote that it's a sort of a slope down, because this stage, this entire U stage, is shorter than the main stage, because to accommodate the cameras at the same time, different levels. From here, from my previous drawing, I'll do a quick rough sketch at the side here. If this is the ground level, and this is the stage height here, and this is the bridge, and the stage at the back should be taller. How much taller, I'm not 100% sure, my theories. And there's a ramp down. You will notice there's a ramp down that the person comes down on. So it's not steps but a ramp, so which is cool. And from round 2 onwards, we also recognize that this entire catwalk, which we saw in round 1 performance by LOONA, where Kimlet and Hassel joined in their bridge, I can't remember, joined and sung. But in round 2 stage, this is lighted up, so it's a box light type of stage, and understandably they would not utilize that, or they did not let LOONA utilize that, because then it would end up being an unfair advantage for them. The irony of them being placed 6th because of COVID. Having said that, this was utilized much later on when LOONA performed their Shake It performance as well. Was it performed? No, it wasn't that clear. When after their main performance on the stage, led to some members like a Cherry and Hyunjin coming here to perform in front of the crowds here. So there is a level of stage which is pretty cool, but I don't think they use the lights here. This was we saw this in the opening. Let me do a super down here. We saw this in the opening, even with Taeyang and the Queen Manager. So they light it up because it's pretty. Having said that, I don't know if subsequent teams will use the light up element of the stage as well, but we shall see. And one aspect of the stage which I totally enjoyed and also found out later was that actually this main video wall could be split open. I thought that was like, wow. So there is actually a split and it's like a doorway. I'll put a super down here subsequently where you see that in the segment, in the opening segment where Taeyang was introduced and she came out with the video wall split open. She came out. At the same time, we saw this aspect of the wall for LOONA's performance. Shake It. I'll super the frames or rather the sills at the side here, where this part was where Chu was doing a quick costume change with Gorn in the center here. This was, they were doing the quick costume change and the backdrop change as well. And also, I think if I'm not wrong, no, I'm not sure. I'll check out the stills. I'll super it here, then you can see for yourselves. And to add on to whatever I was talking about in my previous plan, it still remains the same. That I recognize this is not like a small bridge. It looks as if it's pretty big, pretty huge, like 3.6 meters maybe. If not 3.6 meters, it's 2.4 meters. So it's pretty huge. And also definitely this is where the props come and go. Especially I would suspect let's say where LOONA has the bar counter here, and also the sofa here and the side table. Larger props, we call those setting props. They are not hand props, they're setting props, which is pretty heavy though. The bar, I'm very curious about the bar because it looks steady, solid piece, so it cannot be on a caster wheel. The caster wheel is like the whole bar counter is on a little concealed wheels below, but then probably it's lockable so the whole thing doesn't move. Especially the gimmick where Chu is on top and they pull the cloth so it looks as if she's on a conveyor belt. I thought that was pretty clever. When I saw the shots, I thought literally she was on a conveyor belt, but I recognized later with their quick movements that they actually lay the white cloth over it and folks were pulling the cloth so it looks as if she's moving. I thought that's little details that are not necessarily a part of the storytelling, but it enhances the visual moment of what's going on. So I thought that was pretty clever. So again, even the sofa I recognized in the early part where we call them the nerd girls. No offense to the nerd girls. When they came, they sat down. It was with Eve, Kimlet, Vivi, Hustle, Go On, and Hyunjin. They were all sat here, whereas Bar's counter tables were just at the back, and even the dancers with no glasses in their hands. I thought it was pretty cute, but fair because then you have way more hand props than you are dealing with, and they need to go somewhere. Hand props are props that literally you hold in your hands. A hand is called hand props, whereas setting props are bigger stuff. So the bar counter probably came in from this side, sofa will disappear off this side. It's the same where in episode 3 we saw the performance from Cosmic Girls, WJSN, and also Brave Girls, where they have mobile props on stage as well, and probably they'll come left and right of the stage. How tall that stage is and how much, when it comes to staging, or rather 20 years ago when I was doing this as a job, there's a whole lot of things going on at the side, man, that people will not see and not supposed to see. Whole lot of stuff inside, a lot of standby stage men, which is taking care of all these props as well. So again, it's a massive logistical aspect of moving things in and out, which we take for granted, frankly speaking, for granted. And so far with the 3 performances we see in episode 3 of Queendom, a lot of it is based on the stage. That means they come in and out of the stage and hand props. Except for when we saw the trailer for the 4th episode where Hyolyn is suspended off the ground. Now that's a different thing. Where when it comes to suspension of things on the top, probably it's on a retractable or lever or lift that she has utilized. At the same time, I don't know if it's the other 3 or other 2 teams utilized that aspect of staging. I use that quite a bit for my variety shows which I designed in the past, where we wanted to change the look of the stage. We can't change as much as we have the video wall, which is pretty cool, and also the props on top. So sometimes we have things coming down from the top, like hanging lamps or hanging designs. Yeah. If I have a chance, I'll go into that when I talk about my older stage designs. Having said that, we've also seen trailers for subsequent teams, which includes Vivizy, Kepler, and Hyolyn is the third. There is always a wait in between setups. What we see on camera, or rather what we see on the broadcast, not camera, what we see on broadcast are edited versions of what we felt are like back-to-back performances, but in reality, and I'm sure for folks who are familiar, who have been on shows, variety shows, that there is a massive waiting as well. So they sit for the crew to reset the table, or not the table, sorry, to reset the stage for each performance. Hence, when we saw LOONA, they first came on stage and lined up and they chat with the host Taeyong, where we saw in the edited program, and then they went off stage and then they set up the table. And yes, there probably will be a fixed duration and time for them to set up. It won't take like a whole day, but who knows? I really don't know the schedule at this point in time, but then there is effort done in setting up. And also from here, the second level, which I didn't draw in, which would be, let me draw it like this. Maybe I'll use this. Where the second level we don't really see. I'll super. I'll draw one end, I won't draw the other end. So it's like a mirror. Yeah. So this part is where I'll point out, maybe when I super this, the side, the top, where this is the entire height of the end of the stage. And let me find another color. Another color where there are hidden spotlights here, they shine at the back. Shining at the back of a talent is as important, because imagine the person is wearing black or darker colors against a black background. Then there's sometimes you see talents when they stand, you see like a sort of like a halo aura around them, like a light outline, and that's where you make them stand out. And that's where the lights here, the purposes of these lights are. And probably here as well, there's spotlights hidden in middle, on top of the audience sitting that shine down as well. Yeah, and we can see from the video later on. I'll play the video and I'll see if I can talk about them. There's a very quick 2-3 second clip of the setting up of the entire studio that was seen in episode 3, which I filmed down on my phone and slowed down in edit. So hope don't get my video cool. I don't use the audio. Having said that, yes, one thing before I forget. So I'm trying to cover all bases. When the video wall opens up, then probably this is on what we would say on wheels below, or there's track below. When the door open up, then there's another wall behind that. I'm not sure if it's another video wall or it's lights. Obviously there's light built in against a black background. So this was, let's say for example, again I'll super the sequence where LOONA performed, then the wall opened and there's another light behind. I thought that was pretty clever. At the same time, let me look at what else am I missing from here. Sure, there's a solid piece here that covers. Or maybe this video wall is all the way to, probably not to the, yes, it is all the way to the end. It's all the way to the end because when the wall split opens, this wall manages to close to this side, and this also close to this side, so it's solid block. So whatever the distance is in the middle is basically the two doorways lah, the size of the doorways, which we see behind the scenes as well when whoever performs and they walk, then they go back down of the steps, and that is the size of the step, 1.5 meter, 1.2 meter. So if it's 1.5, let's assume it's 1.5. Normally it's 1.2 because if let's say we're talking about modular stage and also modular steps, right, it comes in a set length. I might be wrong, it might be 1.8, who knows. So if imagine if this length is 1.8 meters, 1.8 meters, let's presume 1.5, yeah. Let's 1.5, then the middle area is 3 meters wide. Does it make sense? Again, plus and minus, this is again all totally estimation on my bit. So yeah, wall behind, doors open. That was my main takeaway when I saw episode 3, and I was pretty excited about that. I was like, wow. From this video, I will take a look again, or I rather show the slowed down version of the setup of this stage, where the camera obviously is from this side pointing down on the second floor. And it's interesting because you will see lighting rigs. I don't know what I'll do. Probably what I'll do is this. I'll cut this video, then I'll shoot this camera off a screen that we look at, and I'll pause and talk about the setup. Yeah, does it make sense? Let's do that.